This network brought together activists, business leaders, policy makers and everyday citizens in its inaugural India Climate Summit to address the impact of climate change. These distinguished voices have championed the cause of climate action. They have been raising awareness and protecting the future of our planet. The summit brought forth its commitment to foster a sustainable nation, uniting stakeholders in a common agenda. Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, joins at the India Climate Summit to discuss India's global leadership in sustainability and decarbonization sectors.
We've talked about sustainable development, we've talked about climate crisis, we've talked about sustainable development with the kind of environmental imbalance that we are seeing and the need for sustainable development as you and I speak today. First and foremost, can I understand from you, when we talk about our cities, that we have seen all kinds of crises. When we talk about global warming, when we talk about climate change, how is climate crisis impacting us and our cities?
It is all about India's global leadership. To celebrate India's global leadership, particularly in sustainability and decarbonization. In India, we have celebrated G20. We have in India's presidency last year, and India has showcased to the world that in climate change, although we are not responsible for the problem, so far as historic emissions are concerned, so far as per capita emissions are concerned, but we are certainly a part of the solution. And we are in the forefront to solve the problem as a global leader. Come to the sustainability, we have UN SDGs, and there are 17 SDGs, and India is trying its best to meet them through the approach taking all the states into confidence, union territories into confidence. India's global score is 66%, and also Indian states' average score is almost similar.
India is a vast country with diverse terrains, with diverse populations who have diverse habits. In that context, when we talk about sustainable development and we talk about rural and urban India, there's a huge difference. And if you go to rural India, they'll say कि अरे हम तो अभी develop करने शुरू हुए हैं, अभी तो facilities आ रही हैं, हमको क्यों बोल रहे हो? Urban India, if you come, they'll say abhi to, we've just started living that life. Why should we stop? You should go tell the others who are wasting resources. What kind of a challenge do you face there when it comes to adoption of practices that lead to sustainable development and the resistance to them in the rural India and urban India?
You are very true. So considering the present situation, the climate change has been realized that the weather is changing very fast. The weather patterns are not as before. The seasons has been shifted. There is not the overall rainy days has been reduced, but the rain has been intense, causing flash floods and other kind of natural calamities. Coming to the temperature rise, coming to the ocean sea level rise, coming to the impact of climate change on food security, like agricultural production has gone down. There are in many patches in the country. IIST has engaged with Indian Agricultural Research Institute, and we have found out that in central India, how the wheat production has drastically gone down. And due to lack of water availability and higher temperature, there are many specified species, sensitive species, who requires comparatively cooler environment and more water are getting extinct. And they have vanished. They are into the history of Red Book now. So we have increase of temperature. You must have seen recent IPCC report. There is 1.5 degree increase in the global temperature that average human can tolerate. So in such a situation, there is a 32 to 33% reduction in global biodiversity. There is a water quality and quantity has been very badly impacted. Agricultural productivity has considerably reduced. And all these changes and adverse impact of climate change happening.
Mr. Panigrahi, amid all of this that you mentioned, we've had COP28 and now we're heading towards the next COP. What do you think should be on the agenda? What do you think is the primary focus that all of us should be emphasizing upon right now? Countries across the world leaders should be taking action upon?
See, the climate is happening, everybody knows it. So from where the funds will come from? The major problem today to fix the climate change, we need technology, we need finance. So technology will come through technology transfer. The developing nations doesn't have enough technology with them. So it will come through technology transfer from the developed ones. So the kind of technology transfer should have taken in a pace, it is not happening, irrespective of a lot of facilitation by the governments of developing country. In the other hand, let it be technology or any other problem, finance is the key. We had a detailed discussion in COP28, as you told, where there are many challenges, and particularly the climate finance was a very big issue. And climate finance is again classified into adaptation finance and mitigation finance. In adaptation finance, there is adaptation fund, which is peanuts, inadequate to meet the global requirements of developing worlds and underdeveloped worlds.
When we talk about climate finance, the whole tussle about developed countries paying up more and developing countries being less responsible for it is still continuing. We haven't been able to make that headway from that tussle between the developed and the developing world. When you're at that talk, when you're having those negotiations and the priorities are kept forward, how does one move forward? What is India placing on the table that time?
COP28, the Article 6, which is the carbon markets mechanism, could not able to discussed. And so COP26, it is main agenda that it will decide on market-based mechanism, that is Article 6.2, 6.4 and 6.8. Whereas on the other hand, we have highly ambitious NDCs. If you see in the Kyoto Protocol, we hadn't any target as such. But now we have a target, being the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases. And to reduce, so we are supposed to pay carbon taxes. So in such a situation, Article 6.2 allow us bilaterally we can cooperate, two countries can cooperate in their emission reduction and through the carbon trading mechanism. Whereas 6.4 allow the countries to establish a carbon market in which the credits can be traded. In India, we have a vibrant system is being generated, Indian carbon market, which is in the final stage of operational, to be operationalized soon. In addition, we need a lot of climate risk finance. Like these natural disasters are happening, so the industries and businesses are losing their capital, they are losing their investment. So how many, the insurance sector, the banking sector in particular, they are very serious. How to mitigate this kind of climate risks and how to disclose them in a scientific method and manage them.
My last question to you, Mr. Panigrahi. How do you see this moving forward? The fact is that the governments can take as much as action as they want. Of course, it's our responsibility as individuals also to work towards it, to battle this crisis. But how do you see this moving forward? Do you see this actually finding, a proper solution and we overcoming this crisis, this battle against climate change in the near future?
We need to adopt a climate-friendly lifestyle. We need to adopt a low-carbon lifestyle, or we can adopt a decarbonized lifestyle. The another option is we need to go for a decarbonized economy. We need to adopt a decarbonized society. The kind of the activities either we are doing at individual level or at the societal level or for the trade and business, for any purposes, that needs to be examined, and we need to find out the alternative sustainable path which will produce comparatively negligible greenhouse gases, and such options are available, and we must explore them as far as possible, and for that and to make that possible, for societal, business and industry level emission reduction, we need risk finance, we need blended finance.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Panigrahi, for enlightening us with what sustainable development is, how we can go about it, and what countries across the world can learn from it. Thank you very much.